Beautiful.
If you're joining us, we'd love for you to say hello.
Let us know where you're from as well. It's always exciting to meet spoonies from around the world.
Yeah, the TikTok that I did is popping off. Wow.
Yeah.
There are lots of comments. Every time I go into TikTok, I'm like, whoa, hello. Okay, hello, everyone.
Oh, that's awesome. Alrighty, well, we might get started. So welcome everyone to our second ever Spoonie community event. We're going to be hosting these semi-regularly. So they're our online free community events designed to inspire, support, and just connect one another. In future, we're also going to be hosting these on the Spoonie app once we've launched. We're going to be building in live streaming, which is super exciting. Lots of people ask for that, so very happy to be able to deliver on that. Before we go any further, I'd also like to start off by acknowledging that this event is being recorded here on the land of the Bundjalung people. I'd also like to pay my respects to elders past and present, and if you do happen to know the land that you're on, I'd like to invite you to acknowledge that in the chat as well. We've also got closed captions which will be available, so if you hit the CC button, they should pop on for you. Yeah, so we've received a lot of questions in the lead up to this event, so it's been hard to pick which ones we do, but we've gone with some common themes and they will be getting answered at the end. So thank you to everyone who submitted those. You're also welcome to chime in the chat box as we go, but I will quit yapping and I'll hand it over to the reason why we're all here, which is Ceri. Ceri, if you'd like to introduce yourself and you can get started.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome, everyone. I'm known on TikTok as the ADHD Compassion Coach. And so I really wanted to run this event and call it Compassion for Your ADHD Chaos. So whether you are joining and you identify as someone who is an ADHDer, or maybe you have a family member and you're trying to understand it better, I think that this is going to give you a lot of information on how to show yourself genuine compassion, questions that you can ask yourself, journal prompts, and just a whole lot of cool resources. So, how to get the most out of this super fun virtual experience. If you're a big nerd like me, please do take notes, okay? We process information better, retain it better when we take notes, even better if they are written, handwritten. If you can, limit distractions, but also, you do you. You're welcome to use the chat box. I've got it up in the corner of my screen. I'm very excited to see all of your names popping up. People from Birmingham? I went to Birmingham. So I used to, okay, quick tangent. I used to live in Worcestershire in the UK just for a year. And we got to take the kids to the Birmingham Orchestra and they played all of the theme songs from like The Incredibles and all of these different cartoons. So fun fact about Birmingham. And just be open-minded, be reflective. In this workshop, I'm just going to be covering, so I'll let you know who I am. I'll tell you why I believe compassion just matters so much. What ADHD might affect you. I think that means how ADHD might affect you. So understanding your differences and needs. We're going to do a deep dive into that. How can ADHD adults honor those differences and needs and honor it with compassion? And then rejecting the neurotypical nonsense. I love alliteration. And escaping the shame traps. And I'll leave you with some more support and resources from myself and other advocates and experts online. Quick housekeeping. As you can see, tonight is recorded, so keep your mic muted, but we're on a webinar, so that's okay. But oh my freaking goodness, I am so glad that you are all here, whether I can see you or not. I want you to come away with this fully freaking understanding that in life, it isn't about you needing to do more. I know that those are the messages that we get from all angles on social media, in society, in like capitalist politics, but I won't go on a rant there. But to rebel and do less is so liberating. And it's such a freaking relief, especially if you are a low energy person just like me. I also want you to know that in this space, permission is granted. You can show up as your authentic self. And this applies to Spoonie as well. And this is why I was so excited to be able to work and collaborate with Spoonie, because our values align. We want you to be able to show up as your authentic self, exactly as you are. Awkward. I am awkward so often, everyone. Confident. I am confident and awkward. Quiet, I can be. Loud, whatever it is. Tired, excited, without the mask. I love that on Spoonie, people are showing up and they're being vulnerable. I'd love to hear if you're a beta tester, by the way, if you've had the pleasure of jumping into the app. And if you haven't, oh, I know that it's so hard to wait. I had been waiting so long, and when I got that beta testing invite, I was like, thank goodness. But it's coming. It's coming. Yes, you're keen and it's coming. So your sharing isn't oversharing here. Your personality isn't too much here. This is a safe space where you can be infinitely you, and that goes for the chat as well. Be weird. Do it. All right, let's get to know me a little bit. So I'm Ceri. That's pronounced Kerry. It means love in Welsh. I discovered my neurotype was ADHD in 2020. I went to therapy for severe work-related stress, thinking I'm just an anxious girly. No, my psychologist was like, yo, you seem to show a lot of the traits for ADHD. Have you ever been tested? And I was like, no. But I had this view of ADHD. My brothers, my nephews, I was like, that's ADHD. That's not me. And I was a teacher. So I felt quite like a little bit silly not knowing this. And she took me through the assessment and I was like, yeah, very often, very often. Like, this is what the heck? And it just completely opened my mind up to what neurodivergence can look like for different people. I believe my whole life has changed for the better because I've been able to unmask. I've been able to be my full, ridiculously passionate self. And I ended up pursuing coaching. I've created programs and resources to support ADHD adults. I love all the half Welshies here. I don't know if you know this, but Welsh people, a nickname for us is taffies. So if you didn't know that, now you do. This is not about finding the next best tip, trick, or hack. This is about understanding yourself and embracing the way that you work without shame. I love it. Everyone's like, I'm Irish. Yeah, tell me where you are. I want to hear. I'm reading it. I'm getting like slightly distracted, but that's okay. This is my ADHD chaos model. It might guide you in some ways, but with clients and in this presentation, we start by exploring our differences and needs. And as I work through this with clients, we begin to acknowledge those differences and needs. We validate them, then we allow them, accept them, and embrace them. So this is just a little bit of a sneak peek into what I do as an ADHD coach. But who cares about me? What brought you here tonight? Why does this workshop matter to you? Please pop it in the chat. I'll try to read out a few. I would like to know, why does this matter? What drew you here to show yourself compassion for your chaos? For me, it was about validation. It was about no longer telling myself that the way that I worked was wrong or invalid or different. Actually, I kind of like being different, but wrong. Clients that I've worked with, sorry, my dog's over there, clients that I've worked with have described feeling like they're broken. Okay, they're coming through the chat now. Feeling like I need to fit in, very hard on myself, newly diagnosed. The chat's going quickly. I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. But no, my partner has ADD, yeah. So it's, ADD is now called ADHD, inattentive presentation. Trying to finally sort out my ADHD, not feel alone, yes. Feel less like I'm broken, yes. struggle very hard to show myself compassion when I work differently. I know exactly what that's like, Hannah. Really struggling in uni with my ADHD. Well, hopefully you can come away from this, Alice, feeling like you can advocate for your needs and ask for accommodations, ask for adjustments. Love my ADHD brain, but it's still so hard on myself. Yes. So many ADHDers can relate to that unfair shame that has been put on us for working differently. Very hard on myself. Want to stop sabotaging myself, struggling, burnt out, hate when the meds wear off. Or hopefully you can come away from this feeling like you don't hate it when the meds wear off, and that you can love yourself whether you're medicated or not. Alrighty, why compassion matters. Thank you everyone so much for sharing. I'm just going to move on because I'm conscious of time, but I do appreciate your vulnerability, and I hope that everyone in the chat reads each other's, react to them. I will be reading the chat later. Okay, so why compassion matters. You find the world more draining as an ADHD adult. I have not worked with a client who hasn't felt like life is a lot. So showing ourselves compassion on those days when life feels like a lot is really important. We can have inconsistent access to our energy, and our energy is fluctuating. It is a finite resource. And yet, what messages are we receiving from society? Who has made you doubt the validity of your differences? So for the people who are saying, I hate when my meds wear off, where do you think that hate is coming from? Feeling like you can't keep up with others. Where do you think that pressure to keep up with others is coming from? For me, I had parents with really high expectations. So I think a lot of that pressure came from that. And when I shared it with them, they couldn't believe that. They were like, oh my gosh, we never wanted you to feel that way. And so much of the pressure that we experience, people don't even realize. And there was a TikTok that I did about the word just. When people say like, oh, just do it. Oh, just get started. It's like, just makes it sound like it is such a small thing, and it is not. For me to get up and brush my teeth and eat my breakfast and do my workouts, and everything is a conscious choice. So I can't remember, was I allowed to swear or no? Yeah. I feel fucking tired. I feel so fucking tired. And it might be like 10 a.m. So it's like, it's, yes, swearing. Thank you, Abe. Yes. So when you think about the people and the messages, the people who have made you doubt your differences and the messages that you've received, just know that you can challenge those. My ears are not a toilet. So what is the result of hearing these messages? You're just being a bit sensitive. That's minimizing. Can you stop complaining and just get on with that? That's dismissing. Sounds like an excuse to be lazy. That's invalidating. So when we hear these messages, it's like we're taking them as fact. And like we're allowed to, do that to those messages if we want. We're allowed to say, this is not an excuse. This is a need. This is not a want. I don't want to have a fucking rest at 11 a.m. I don't want to, do these things, because this is not an excuse. This is a need. And you are very freaking welcome to share in the chat some of the crappy messages that you've heard, and look at this little bin. That's where they're going. Goodbye, farewell, ta-ta. People that say, oh, it's just stop being dramatic, Hannah. Chuck it in the bin. Adulthood is just feeling tired. Is that someone said that to you? Yeah. You just shut up. You don't know. Oh, people projecting ignorance. It's so frustrating. I went to a wedding. Yeah, it's just life. Shut up. Go in the bin. I went to a wedding and I said, oh, I have ADHD. And they were like, oh, yeah, so you struggle with attention. And I was like, How much time have you got here? Because I'm going to educate you on what ADHD is. Yeah, you're just stressed. Everyone gets tired. Stop trying to do it. Just do it. That's not logical, is it, Alice? When you try to explain the reason you're struggling and everyone, I remember as a teenager, people would say, stop making excuses. And I'd go, I'm giving you an explanation for what I'm experiencing. And you're telling me it is an excuse. Oh, being an adult means doing things you don't want to do. Shut up. Oh, let's chuck all these in the bin, shall we? All right, I'm going to talk to you about the OG Russell Barkley. If you haven't heard of him, please YouTube, Google. This man is a legend. He's written a favorite book of mine. Oh, bugger. It's probably up on my walking desk, but I'll put it in the notes or something. So I'm going to introduce you to Russie B and then show you the ADHD iceberg concept. You see, he can hear my medication wears off. my words leave me. So a thing to understand about ADHD, especially for those people at the wedding that said, oh yeah, this is just your attention, right? ADHD impacts every domain of your life. Home, work, socializing, relationships, education, community, finances, driving, resting, leisure activities, sexual behavior, parenting, and daily responsibilities. So like that's what we're working with here. So if our ADHD is impacting all of that, gee whiz, do we need some compassion? Gee whiz, do we need to go, oh, okay, I'm struggling today. What can I do to support myself? A question I love to ask is, what do I need right now? You're welcome to steal that. It's a question I ask every day. What do I need right now? Another question I ask, how can I make this easier? That can be the smallest task of getting out of bed. I want to make every single thing that I do in life easier. If you don't know what you need, there's two strategies, Kat, and it's a great question you've asked. The first is verbalizing. I talk to myself a lot, but you can verbalize to other people as well. My husband is great. I've told him what verbalizing is. It's a way of processing. I need to talk about my needs. I don't know what they are right now. Can I just brain dump? Can I just get it out of my system? So that's verbalizing. And the second strategy is externalizing. So, they're over there. I have like 10 journals. I never open them up again because that's not what they're for. They're for me to brain dump and process information. So if you don't know what you need, try brain dumping what you're feeling in your body and where. Try talking about how is your energy? What do you feel like doing today? And see what comes up. So you're instead of having it all up here, you're getting it out of your brain. I feel like I'm dumping a whole lot of challenges on you all, but I'm just trying to paint a picture so that you understand giving yourself compassion is so valid. What you go through is not as small as some people have made you feel like it is. Executive function challenges with self-awareness, inhibition, non-verbal, these are all these are the words in Russie B's book, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what those mean. Verbal working memory, so that's like your short-term memory. Emotional regulation, managing your emotions. Self-motivation, initiating the task, starting. Planning and problem solving. I remember reading this in a book and being like, but what does that mean? What does that mean? Like the language just feels so like technical. Let's explore what that means. So you are welcome to take a screenshot of this, or you can take some notes. Your ADHD iceberg, just so that you're aware, everyone's ADHD is different. and it's wild because we relate to each other so much. We bond over our shared traits, but everyone's ADHD is different. You might have heard, if you've met one person with ADHD, you have met one person. So your ADHD iceberg is influenced by like the way you act, your words, your differences, your body language, your traits, your personality, your quirks. But under the surface, what people don't see are your needs. People don't realize a lot of the ADHD experience, in particular, if you are ADHD inattentive presentation like myself, your needs can be internalized. Isn't that frustrating? Isn't that why there are now generations of people who identify as women being diagnosed? Because they internalize so much. Your motivations are your own. They're different. They're under the surface. Your history, your mindset. When I say your history, I mean your parental influence, the significant adults in your life, and the way that they've made you feel about your differences. My heart goes out to anyone who was shamed so much in their childhood. I was shamed a lot for losing stuff. Damn, did I lose stuff? My memory was like, it was in my head. I was so paranoid when I got engaged and married. I was like, I'm going to lose this ring. I'm going to lose it so quick. I haven't yet. I am very paranoid. Yeah, hearing messages, you'd lose your head if it wasn't glued on. Shit, did I hear that? Your emotions, the way you experience the world is different, your triggers and your strengths. So understanding the point of this slide is to understand that your ADHD iceberg is your own. And no one can invalidate that because they are not you. They have not been through your life. They have not heard the messages that you have heard. Your ADHD is influenced by your entire life experience. Ooh, I feel like I'm on a roll. Your ADHD energy iceberg. So I talk a lot about energy. I think it's really important to acknowledge how different our energy is and how much more energy we are using to get through life. So above the surface, what others have seen, this is my personal iceberg. Not as social. So I bail on things a lot. And it's because I say yes when I'm like, yeah. And then 3 days later, I'm like, fucking no, why did I say yes to that? I'm tired just thinking about it. Your dysregulation, people can see that. They can see like, oh, okay, they're feeling things. They don't know why. They don't experience the world in the same way. Missed deadlines. Ugh, that is a story of my life. Missing deadlines. Can I just share, because I feel comfortable and vulnerable here, through university, I hope none of my lecturers are here, but I asked for an extension on every single assignment in 4 years of university. That is a shitload of extensions. And I was so paranoid that all of my tutors would come together and be like, this chick is always sick. But I wasn't sick. I was just like struggling with managing. I didn't know I had ADHD. I didn't know anything about my brain. I just thought I was really shit at life. And so going through these slides, we are not really shit at life. We just have like differences that need to be acknowledged. That's some impressive consistency. Thank you. Thank you. Bails on plans, impatience, tiredness, late for events, and just a low kind of stress tolerance. Oh, there were questions there. Did I? What gets in the way of you? All right, over to you, team. I've been talking for ages. What gets in the way of you allowing yourself to have a different energetic capacity than other people? What gets in the way of you allowing yourself to have a different energetic capacity than other people? And while you answer that question, oh, no, you beat me to it. Fear of being shamed by others, masking, comparison, capitalism, preach, shame, social expectations, Wow, it's going quick. Yeah, trying to match their energy, afraid of rejection, being judged, guilt, masking. Oh, I'm going to share the best advice kind of that I've ever been given, and I'd love for you to steal this because I tell it to every bloody person who'll listen. When you notice yourself in a fog, that's when you need to check in. The fog is when you are acting from a place of fear that people won't want to be your friend anymore, fear that people will think you're a shit person. When you're acting from a place of obligation, oh, I don't want to do this, but I should do it. Oh, I don't want to do this, but I'm their friend. If they're your friend, then they can give you compassion. If they're your friend, then they can encourage you to honor your differences. And so fear, obligation, guilt. If you are only going to things or showing up because you feel too guilty not to do that, that's when I want you to check in with yourself and ask, how could I make an adjustment? How could I do this differently? It doesn't always have to be a reschedule. Maybe you only go for a short amount of time. This is the time when I talk about weddings. Can we all agree that weddings are the fucking worst? Weddings go for like 7 hours. I have only recently started telling people, what's going on with weddings? I gotta leave after a certain amount of time. Like this is going forever. Oh my gosh. Weddings. You can get Abe, siblings getting married. I just say, look, give me, I'll be there as long as I can. But once I look like this, I'm done. I'm not masking anymore. Yeah. All right. How am I going for time? Oh, shit. I'm going okay. Larissa, am I okay to keep going? Yeah, cool. So under the surface, take a squiz at this. Acknowledge this. Under your surface, what is affecting your energy? Masking, people pleasing, RSD, perfectionism, focus, memory, guilt, emotional regulation, organization, brain fog, overwhelmed, restlessness, planning, prioritizing, fucking expectations from others, comparison, should trap, sensory differences, overstimulation, overcommitment, procrastination, unrealistic standards, listening and focusing when people are talking to you, shame, stress with time management, burnout, impulsivity, ignoring limits. Now, doesn't that look like a valid reason to need adjustments, to need compassion, to need accommodations? I almost want to take this little image around with me. It sounds exhausting, doesn't it? But I think of us like, yeah, moving through the world. If anyone criticized me, I'd be like, excuse me, have you seen my iceberg? Are you for real? Do you go through this? Buddy? How? Mate? No. Well, maybe, unless they could be ADHD as well. I don't know. The number one struggle I notice when I'm coaching ADHD adults is that they have been told their whole lives, myself included, that their needs weren't valid. They're not valid. And we agree, like we begin to believe it. We agree, like, oh yeah, no, they're not valid. Looking at this image, your needs are valid. They're real. And once we have this information, we can start to rewrite the shame stories. We can start to validate ourselves. And we can recognize that we are not, I love that I can swear, making fucking excuses. Mic drop. At a wedding, I'm like, I'm out of here. Shut the mic. You are juggling high demands, and it's no wonder you're feeling energetically drained. I might skip this one only because I'm conscious of the time and I've still got a fair bit to go. But please do chuck the shoulds in the bin where they belong. One of my clients said, "Where have you been shooting all over yourself?" It's the best thing I've ever heard. Yeah, if you do have to go, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you, and what you go through every day is just so valid. All right, something that happens with ADHD adults is we can think all or nothing. We can use the shoulds. I should be able to do this because everyone else is doing it. I shouldn't ask for support because no one else is asking for it. But we can challenge that. We can say, maybe I just don't know no one else is asking for it. Maybe I can be the first one. I'm always too tired to catch up with my friends. Or maybe we catch up with them in a different way. Try my best to get everything done, but it's never enough. That's such an absolute. It's never enough. It is enough. I used to sell these affirmation discs, and one of the most popular ones is "My best is enough." It's validating ourselves, especially if no one else bloody will. I do the most work as possible when I'm high energy. Why bother trying? I just get nothing done. So thinking in those absolutes make us feel like we're backed into a corner. So we got to challenge those ants, automatic negative thoughts. We have to challenge assumptions. This is a great way of challenging ants. It's also a great way of working through RSD. You're very welcome to screenshot it. So looking at what you're thinking, is this a thought or a fact? What proof do I have that this is true? That's an interesting one, actually. When I work with clients and they have this belief, and I say, like, what proof do we have that's true? So often it is just a feeling that we have that everyone will hate us, or we will get fired, or like we haven't explored, is there any proof of this? And sometimes there is. Sometimes we work with shit people. That's a reflection of them, though. What happens when I believe this thought? If I believe that I can't call in sick when I need to, what happens when I believe it? I never call in sick. What happens as a result of that? I burn out. The worst case scenario is, and the opposite of this thought is. So those are just some great sentence starters. I'm very aware of the time. All righty. I might skip that one too. I'll do this one. So the automatic negative thought, I can't not go, it's their birthday. We reframe as, thank you, Abe. I literally never ever stick to the time. Reframe as, it's okay to let them know that you're too tired. They'll think, oh, this is a big one for me, by the way. This is a huge one. They'll think you're unreliable if you reschedule. I had a firm belief that was true. I can't control how other people react, but I can believe that they will respect my needs. And do you know what has happened in my job? I can only speak from my context, but every person has shown me that it is safe for me to honor my energy. Every person has actually said, thank you. You bailing on me has made me feel safe to bail on you. And I say to my clients, a bail is a blessing. If you bail on me, it means I get to go to bed early. That's good for me. They always criticize me if I don't go. We challenge that with, what if their critical behavior is a reflection of their understanding and their capacity, which is different. I will never be able to honor my energy. Becomes, how can I start to honor my energy with tiny changes and little experiments? I'm going to skip that one because I have like 500 slides more to go. All right, the basic stuff. It's annoying, but all of this stuff matters, okay? Your needs matter and sleep bloody matters, okay? When we say, I should just be able to fall asleep, why don't you try exploring what helps you fall asleep? For me, rain sounds. I discovered I have delayed sleep phase disorder. Lots of sleeping conditions can be common with ADHD. Might be something to discuss with your psychologist or psychiatrist or GP if this is something you experience. So I used to take like an hour or two to fall asleep. And I started experimenting with what could help me. Having a bath, late night bath. Like, who says there's any rules on what time you can have a bath? 11 p.m., I'm having a bath because I fucking can't fall asleep. I tried swimming. Apparently, exercise really helps you fall asleep. That's a fact. It's annoying. How to honor your ADHD needs with eating. I do not cook. I order food from a truck and a man delivers it on a Monday and it's bloody lovely. And I put it in the microwave and I make cooking as easy as possible. Well, it's not cooking, it's microwaving. With movement, people say, I should be able to exercise consistently. Why? Consistently is the worst word on the planet. I tried running. I failed at it. It was terrible. I got shin splints. I never want to run ever again. But roller skating, nailed it. Swimming, amazing. I started a sticker chart. Now I'm walking on a walking pad every morning. Why? Because I took away the should. I took away the shame. Fuck yeah, bouldering. Maximus, that sounds awesome. Apologies for my swearing. I'm just excited. Getting out into nature. So I have breaks where I go outside in the sun. I just stand there like a weirdo, and probably all my neighbors are like, what's she doing? I go to the dog park and we go on what is called a poo walk, where we're literally just walking so that my dog will take a shit. Do what you got to do. All right, take another screenshot now. This is going to be helpful. So RACE is an acronym that I came up with that is going to help you to honor your needs. So looking at reducing, I've noticed that X is happening. I can reduce X by, and I'll give you some examples. So on a Zoom call, every day I say, I'm choosing compassion over criticism. What does it look like? I reduce. I've noticed I won't have much capacity, so I can reduce the demand by maybe rescheduling, maybe telling the people on the Zoom call that I can only stay on for half an hour, especially if I'm going way overtime. Adjust. I've noticed that being on camera feels too much. I can adjust the way that I show up by. I tell all my clients, if you don't want to be on camera, don't be on camera. If you want to show up in your pajamas, great. I'm already in mine. So making adjustments to meet your needs. Communicate. I've noticed I'm losing focus. I can communicate this by. I have my fidget tools in every direction. As soon as people require me to listen, I communicate that I'll be using them. And embrace. I've noticed I'm experiencing brain fog today. I can embrace my energy by. What would it look like for you? My desk is covered in fidget toys. Me too. All right. I'll skip that one. And it'll be Larissa. Are they getting the notes that I sent you? The slides?
If you're okay for us to share them, I think, people would probably love that. And this is also being recorded, and we'll, send that out or post that. We'll let everyone know for sure. Yeah.
Nice. You guys deserve the slides because my time management is questionable. All right. Where can you find more support? So I am starting to wrap up now. These are my 3 favorite books. That's the one I was talking about before. Russell Barkley, legend. His language is a little bit clinical, and I think it could be more neuroaffirming, but it's still an amazing book. Women with Attention Deficit Disorder, I think, is the best book. They are on audio, but I'm very particular about if I can hear people's like spit, or if their voice is boring, I can't listen to it. And I do think Ceri Sandford, amazing, the queen of the world, but I don't know about the audiobook. Okay. Yeah, maybe just get a summary of it, but it's very helpful. And ADHD Girls to Women, Lotta Borg Skoglund, is very quick, short, sharp. Oh, look, they're all here. Oh, no, you can't see them. They're all next to me. Attitude Magazine. If you do not follow Attitude Magazine, please do, because all of the latest research is there. All of like the greatest minds in ADHD are writing articles that are easy to digest. It is I can't believe it's a free resource. It's brilliant. The webinars are a little bit boring, but I don't know, someone must watch them. So I would just read the articles, me personally. And these two podcasts I think are brilliant. Neurodivergent Woman, ADHD Women's Wellbeing Podcast. I apologize. I don't have any. They're all aimed at women. But you can listen to my podcast, which is called Embrace Your ADHD Chaos, coming out with season 2 tomorrow. Well, it's not coming out tomorrow. I got to record it tomorrow. I was meant to record it last week, but I didn't. And now we find ourselves, just subscribe on TikTok. Hey, Abe. If you are interested in my support, you can go to my website, www.cerisandford.com, and have a look there, or follow my TikTok. But I'm about to answer. Oh, Larissa, should I answer the Q&As? Have we got time?
Yeah, if you've got time, like if people want to hang around, and
yeah,
mostly everyone's still here and the chat's popping off. So if you've got time, we've got time.
Pop off. Yeah. All right, I'm about to answer some questions. But first, I would love for you to write down the following. Exploring my needs is the first step to understanding them. Exploring my needs is the first step to understanding them. Get curious and compassionate by, and this has to be written in capital letters, okay? Experimenting to discover what works for me and my ADHD. So curiosity and compassion, they're going to change your life. They are the antidote to shame. They're the antidote to guilt and to judgment. And I just think experimenting sounds way fun. All right, let's do some quick, short, sharp, and shiny Q&As. 3 questions I got. How can I best support my partner with ADHD, especially with the chores? I'm ASD, my partner is ADHD. Organizing the house is the #1 thing that we fight about. So here are my recommendations. You are allowed to be you. Yes, my podcast is free, and my TikTok, and my Instagram. The book on the left, How to Keep House While Drowning, is brilliant on audiobook for whoever loved the audiobooks. And it's talking about cleaning, and you can listen to it while you're cleaning. So cleaning sucks, in my opinion, personally. But if I'm listening to a book that talks about how much cleaning sucks, I don't know, it just helped me. So I used to listen to that book every time I did the dishes, and it got me to do the dishes. But in answer to this person's question, all cleaning conversations have like a blanket rule, right? Compassion and curiosity. So when my husband and I start talking about cleaning, because I've told him this is an RSD trigger for me, I say, compassion and curiosity, please. Compassion and curiosity. I make that really clear. No room for criticism or judgment. You can also try using code words that can alleviate the challenge of being misunderstood. So RSD, rejection sensitive dysphoria, is a feeling of perceived criticism, really common when someone says, did you do the dishes? Like my husband comes home, did you do the dishes? And I'm like, whoa, what are you like? And I full on take it as a criticism. And then we use the code word, and I go, chili? And we just chose that word. I don't know why. And he goes, no, chili, I'm just asking. And I'm like, oh, woo. So it's reassuring each other. Hey, I'm not criticizing you. Do you need help? Do you like want body doubling? It's a code word, and we have been using it for like 8 years, and it works. It really works. And ask yourself what scaffolding and systems can support your partner to work with their differences and needs. So some examples: sensory cues. So like when you do the dishes, you listen to something. Before you do the dishes, maybe you have a coffee or something like that. That's a sensory cue. Habit stacking. If you make a coffee and your coffee machine's going like, dun, 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 dun. I don't know if anyone has a coffee machine like mine. And maybe that's, you can stack a habit there that you put away dishes. I'm talking a lot about the dishes. I'm very sensitive about dishes. And NICU is novelty, interest, challenge, and urgency, which are motivators for our brains. Woo, I've been talking. All right, let's wrap this up. Do you have any tips on handling task paralysis, task initiation, and procrastination? Advice on productivity, navigating the intense frustration or paralysis on low executive functioning days. Do I ever? Experiment with systems and strategies that work for your brain. Not everyone's brain, not every ADHD's brain, your brain. What helps you to build momentum? For me, how could I make this task more interesting or fun? How could I make this easier for me? What is the first step that I could take to start? So when I wanted to build a habit, instead of going, oh, you know, I want to exercise and I want to do this and I want to do that, I said, I want to put my pants on and shoes and go to the walking machine. So my first step was just putting pants on and focusing on that instead of I want to exercise for 50 minutes a day, blah, 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 whatever. You just want to focus on the momentum. You want to focus on getting the ball rolling. Allow your systems and strategies to fail. Take notice, take notes. So it's all part of the experiment. Ooh, what worked? Getting curious, getting compassionate. Doing the dishes is the worst. Asking, what do you need to do the dishes? Do you need gloves? Do you need a dishwasher? Experiment. What do you need? What could I try next? It's a lot more fun when it's an experiment. And acknowledge if you're stuck in all or nothing thinking. I am allowed to have ADHD related difficulties and needs. Task initiation, that is an ADHD difficulty and need. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are having a valid ADHD need. And you can download this app. It's called Habby, Habbii. If you're trying to start exercising, you can have a Tamagotchi dog. That's my dog, Dahlia. I turned her into a digital dog. It's very cool. I love the app. And if you don't exercise, your dog does a shit. It's very motivating. All right. What do you do when you're completely overwhelmed and burnt out by life? I would rest and slow down. How do you schedule your days? How do I balance that with my physical illness? I'm going to show you my calendar system. And someone said they struggle to keep a calendar. So I'm going to share what I do, but the biggest bit of advice is finding what works for you. So I'm going to suggest this digital calendar, but you might hate digital stuff. So experiment with paper, experiment with wall calendars, experiment with, my husband just uses the Notes app. My best friend looked at this and said, duh, that's awful. So her ADHD, it doesn't work. That's why experimenting with what could work for you is important. So I discovered color coding works best for this brain. And here is the code. Red is personal non-negotiable. This is actually today. I had therapy. Look, that's a non-negotiable in red. I also got bored of Finch, but a lot of my clients use Finch and they love it. Blue, rest. So I schedule in rest every single day. Big loads of rest. It's quite a privilege. and I acknowledge that. But I think it's just so important if we have low energy, giving ourselves permission to rest. Next, I add creative stuff, green for work. So you can see I've got a lot of rest and I've got personal non-negotiables there. I feel like I'm just talking now. Is everyone still having fun? I'm late for another call, but they're all lovely and they won't mind. All right, I'm pretty sure this is the last one. Okay. What are your best unmedicated coping mechanisms for ADHD? It's so boring. It's exercise and nutrition. Oh, thanks, Georgia. You're doing great. Thank you. How do you know when to push yourself and when to nourish yourself? I thought that was a beautiful question. And how can I embrace my distracted mind when it keeps me from accomplishing tasks? So, in terms of unmedicated people, please, actually, in terms of everyone with ADHD, actually, in terms of everyone in the entire world, find joy in movement. Give yourself permission to move in a way that actually brings you joy. Exercise and sunlight are both dopamine boosters. So they're going to give your brain what it's kind of lacking and struggling with. So experiment. What do I need to find joy in movement? And how could I make this fun? I have tried roller skating, swimming, rock climbing. Running was a big fail. And now I got a walking pad. Amazing. So I discovered I needed novelty, walking pad, that's novelty, comfort, pajamas, walking pad, amazing, privacy, no one can see me walking, amazing, and momentum. I have a sticker chart and I get to take a sticker off every time I go for a walk. Do I feel shame or embarrassed that I need all of that? I need it. I don't want it. I need all of that to exercise. No, I do not. Because it helps me to manage my ADHD. Daily check-ins are going to help you to understand your personal boundaries. So for the pushing and the nourishing, getting curious with what feels like too much. When you pushed yourself and you had negative outcomes, what did that look like? When did that happen? How far did you put? Like that's exploring your boundaries, understanding your boundaries. And what are the signs I'm pushing too hard? I get very grumpy. That's a big sign for me. I get snippy. My husband comes home and he says something and I go, ugh. I don't even say words. Just a grumpy bum on the couch. So those are the signs I'm pushing too hard. If I haven't washed my hair in a week, it's probably a sign I'm pushing too hard. But those are my signs. I want you to explore what are your signs that you're pushing too hard. What are your signs? Exactly, can't get out of bed. Avoidance, that's a big one for me. If I'm avoiding a job that I love, like I wake up every day so fucking excited to work with other ADHD people. If I'm avoiding that, I've been pushing myself too hard. Your distracted mind works differently to others, so ask, what does my brain need? Forget the shoulds and experiment with the coulds. I could try, I could use, I could take, I could give. Getting curious and compassionate. Holy shit, there's another one. This is just my origin story. Someone asked, how did I get into advocacy? To be honest, I just started. I quit my job. I started therapy. That was helpful. I hyper-focused. I did a lot of trying, failing, studying, researching, and I just did it. I did what my brain is good at, and I still do, and I just wing it. I wing it every day. It's amazing what our brains can do. I love our brains, even on the shit days. Oh, time management, not my strength, but you've made it.
That was amazing, Ceri. My neck is sore because the whole time I was just nodding. I was like, that was like a therapy session. So I hope everyone else felt the same, but the chat was popping off. So yeah, thank you so much. We'll have to have you on again. I could listen to you talk for hours, and I can't listen to many people talk for longer than 10 minutes. So well done.
I'm always there going
you.
like, has everyone lost interest? I don't know.
No, I could listen to you talk forever. So that was amazing. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We appreciate you all dropping in. We'll be doing some more of these sessions. Definitely give Ceri a follow. When I was first diagnosed with ADHD, she was like one of the first people I found in that space, and she's just freaking amazing. So yeah, definitely give her a follow. She's also highly entertaining. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. Ceri, I'll let you get to your next call. But yeah, thanks
Yes.
everyone, and have an amazing evening, and we'll see you at our next event.